Hello, my beauties. Today I am taking you behind the scenes and really sharing a peek into my world, into what my life has looked like over this past month. And the way that I'm going to do this with you all is to share some of the reflections and illuminations that I have received over the month of November, because one of my favorite things, as you know, is celebration. And I find that when we take that moment to pause, to reflect, and to really appreciate the growth, the transformations, the insights, the shifts that have happened in our experience, and to really celebrate them, it anchors them in more deeply. And it also allows us to create some spaciousness to see ourselves more clearly, and to also allow a closing of one chapter and an opening of another. So, with that being said, I'm so excited to dive into this. And I'll begin with sharing that my invocation for the month of November was the theme of balance. Even just saying it like softens my whole body. Balance is so beautiful. And this is a buzzword, right? Everyone's talking about balance. How do we find more balance and this, that, work, life, all the things. However, the way that this has really come through for me over this past month was really honoring the universal law of energy exchange. And what I mean by this is that balance is a universal law. Like life is always not even trying, life will always find balance. It will always find, it is always seeking harmony and homeostasis. And so the way that this showed up for me in really setting this invocation was starting to recognize and really notice where are things imbalanced in my life. Because it was like, once I set this intention, it was as though like an alarm bell would go off every time something started to become imbalanced. And what was really cool about this is like, it would happen instantly. Like I would be in conversation with someone and I would start to notice it draining my energy and that it was no longer balanced. Like as they're speaking, I would have this somatic sensation of like, okay, this is no longer balanced. And from that space, this is not to make them wrong or anything wrong. It was the really beautiful invitation for me, like, okay, well, what's needed here? In what ways can we bring this into more balance, into more harmony? Do I need to excuse myself? Do I need to ask a question? Do I need to set a different boundary? Do I need to, like, what can I do here to shift the energy? Because I really believe we are that powerful. We can always shift the energy. No experience is wrong. We have tools. We have magic to play with to allow that shift. And so I really started seeing this in different relationships and friendships that I have, and it allowed a greater depth of intimacy to occur because there was more truth in the relationship, and that was such a gift for me and everyone else in my life. Another really interesting way that this energetic balance came through was in business, and I started to see that it was time for me to raise my prices. And what was so beautiful about this is in claiming this new price for my offerings, it allowed me to show up more fully in a new way with my clients. And it also allowed them to show up in a new way more fully for themselves. Because as I continue doing my own work and evolving my skill set and being on this journey, the depth that I can hold for someone also expands. And the way that I pay for things is always to be in an energetic field. And whether this is working, with a coach or a therapist or even like the clothes that I'm buying, like everything is energy. Everything is a field. And this is a side note, this is a book that I'm going to be writing with a friend, the future of frequency. The future of currency is frequency, and the future is already here. This is the game that I've been playing for years, and that I also see other people that are really powerful, they're playing this game as well. Like it's not ever really a matter of what's the money. It's like, what's the frequency? What's the energy exchange that's happening here? And so in that expansion of raising my prices and my rates, the transformations that are happening from there are absolutely profound. Like it's just, everything is up leveling. So that's been incredible to witness and experience and share with the people in my life and in my work and everything. So that's really one of the big major illuminations of this month. Now, another illumination was I also really I've always been a stickler for language. Like one of the very first things I ever created for my business was a quantum language ebook. And it was all about language upgrades to support you in your power and in your creational ability. And I'm in the process of creating a course on and a training on power language. So anytime I'm teaching something, I go through an initiation of it myself to deepen my own embodiment. So this has really been my intention over this past month as well, was to really clean up and purify my language even more, which is such a gift. It's so much fun. Like I'm like a nerd for this. I'm an etymology nerd. I'm a language nerd. I love language upgrading. So this is like really fun to me. This is not like hard work. Like this is something I love doing. Like a couple of months ago, even with one of my friends, we made like a little game out of it. And we would go get cacao every day. We called it Cacao Clock, and it would be like a giggle fest. We'd just be laughing and catching up at our favorite cafe. And we were playing this game of language upgrades. And so we had a set number of like specific words that we were being intentional about using or not using. And whoever said the most words that we were not supposed to be using would buy the other person their cacao. And so it was just so much fun. Right? So I love this. So I really brought that intention into my life to upgrade my language in a new way, and really working with something that I'm calling holy language, and to also be very direct with my word, to be very clear with my word, to be concise with my word, to not ramble, to not to bring more intentionality with what I'm sharing, how I'm speaking, and the space that I am taking up. And to really also be mindful of other people's energy and their time, and to not abuse their time or their energy. And so I have found this really beautiful because it's made communication so much clearer. It's cleaned up energies as well, going back to that balance space. It's really supported me with clients, where I have also been very clear and direct with patterns that I'm seeing, and not sugarcoating what's going on in dynamics. And this is allowing a deeper depth of healing and truth to come through for clients, because I find so much in these industries of healing, a lot of times there can be this coddling energy and this disempowering energy, rather than really inviting people to rise into their power and to see things from a higher perspective, from a different perspective that really keeps them in their fullness, rather than going into victim. So that's been so fun to honor with myself, honor with clients, to bring myself into more truth as well, more clarity, and really also taking accountability for everything in my life, for the choices that I'm making and the experiences that I'm in. So this has been a profound expansion in my experience of language, and it's been so much fun and such a gift. Now, the final illumination I will share with you all about the month of November has been a deepening. And sometimes how you can hear something a million times and then one day it just hits. Well, that's really what this last one is about, because for so long I've heard, just enjoy the journey. It's all about the process, and it's all in the energy that you're being versus the doing. And I've felt that I've lived this truth in many ways, and I've also struggled with this truth in many ways. And we're always spiraling upwards, I believe. And so something occurred this month where that truth just hit in a whole new way, and it deepened for me in a whole new way. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I finally get this. And once again, not that I didn't get it before, but truths do deepen. And we have a new perspective and relationship to them. So this one really deepened in my own life, and I experienced so much less expectation, so much less detachment with what I'm creating, and really coming back to that purity of creating for me and not needing anything to happen with it. And with that, there's so much more fun in the process. There's so much more creativity in the process. There's so much more joy in the process. And I'm more proud of my work than I ever have been. And this is creating, obviously, a reflection shift in outcomes, but it's not even about these outcomes. It purely is this detached space of I'm creating for me, because I just need to get this out of my system and through my system, and I'm meant to bring this into the world. And so to have so much less detachment and expectation has been incredibly healing, because that was something I definitely struggled with for years within my work and my creations. I had a lot of attachment and expectation, and it brought a lot of pain and trauma into my life. And so to finally have this experience of this detachment, the embodiment first, the energy first, creating purely for myself from a detached space, is transforming everything within my world. So these are a few of the illuminations, and there's been many more, but these are some of the top ones that, as I reflected on this month, I found to be really profound, and I want to celebrate within my own experience. And I also really invite you to now take a moment to pause, to reflect on what are some of the illuminations that you have in your life from the past month, from November. What breakthroughs did you experience? What challenges have you overcome? What are you really proud of, within yourself? And to really breathe that in, to let that in, to celebrate yourself. If you want to go even deeper and comment on this transmission so I can see you, so I can celebrate you, I always love doing that. That would be a gift as well. And tomorrow I'm going to share with you what my invocation is for the month of December. So that's something juicy to stay tuned into and excited about. And until then, I am sending you all so much love. Mwah.